you have to start somewhere. So don't be scared.
Because like what you said is that you're not going to please everybody, but the people that you do please are going to be a small little niche that are going to just become super fans, because you are talking directly to them. You're not talking to the masses. Welcome to the Handmade Bosses show. I'm Steph, and my mission is to help you start, run, and scale an online handmade business and build a creative life you love. So bosses, let's help you get your amazing products out there and get the sales you deserve. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Handmade Bosses show. And I'm joined here by Savannah.
Hi.
So I'm not going to jump in. I'm going to let you explain a little bit about you and kind of what you do. So it's all yours.
Okay. Yeah. So I've been doing macrame for probably about 3 years, and then when the pandemic hit, I lost my full-time job, and it was really hard to find a job I needed. Or I had all this time. So I kind of dove back into macrame, and then I had maybe 6 wall hangings just kind of sitting around the house. And my husband was like, what are you going to do with all these? We only have so many walls in the house. And I was like, I don't really know. And he's like, you should start an Etsy shop. So he was my main supporter. And I had all this time to dedicate to it. So I decided to start my Etsy shop. I probably started adding listings around December, but I got really serious around February of 2021. So this year.
Wow.
And then, so I do macrame. It was funny. I started with the giant 3-foot wall hangings, and then kind of slowly worked my way down to coasters and keychains and plant hangers. So I went big first and then moved down to the smaller items. But everything I make is from recycled cotton that would otherwise end up in landfills. So everything's eco-friendly.
Oh, I love that. That is amazing. So you're truly making something new out of something old.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that is amazing. And if you guys are listening on the podcast, you won't be able to see the amazing office space behind her. It looks absolutely amazing. There is so much natural wood, and that's kind of what I'm all about. I don't know if you can see, but I love the whole natural look. I haven't really achieved it yet with this office. It's very white still, but your office looks so amazing. Looks like absolute dream. And I can see some wall hangings behind you.
Yes. Yeah, I have a few in here.
That's amazing. So is every inch of your house got some kind of macrame thing hanging around?
It does. I have a wall hanging in our bedroom. I think there's 2 different corners that have plant hangers. We've got coasters everywhere. And then on my keys, I have 5 keychains made from macrame. I can't get enough of it.
You can color code them as well, I guess, for each key.
Yeah.
Amazing. So what made you fall in love with what you sell? So what kind of really, because you mentioned that you like to kind of just, I guess, do it on the side, but what kind of made you really fall back in love with it again?
So it was definitely just kind of a hobby 3 years ago. And then once I started moving to different types of items, I realized that this one spool of macrame cord could make so many different things. And then that's when I really fell in love with it, when I was like, okay, I can make a wall hanging. And then when I have these leftover pieces, that could turn into a keychain, and then that could turn into a coaster, and just all these things. So yeah, I look at this spool and I'm like, what am I going to make today? I'm going to make a 5-foot wall hanging, or am I going to make a little mini keychain? So there's just so many things that can come from it. So it never gets boring.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's so many different colors and stuff like that you can do. And I can see you got little rainbows behind you. They're my favorite. I'm actually on your shop now, and they are my favorite.
Rainbows are fun.
I love them. They are amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I love the fact as well that it looks like you incorporate light driftwood as well. Tell us more about that.
Yeah. So when I first started, I just went to Home Depot and bought a plain wood dowel that you would use for probably in your closet, or things like that. And then I kind of was on Pinterest just going through, and I saw people would use branches, and I'm located by the beach in Southern California. So me and my husband decided to just take a trip and walk along the beach, and there's a bunch of sticks that are kind of pre-sanded, because they're thrown around on the beach or just thrown around by the waves. So they come out of the ocean looking really smooth. So we've gone to different beaches and we've found a couple that have just covered in driftwood. So we'll bring a wagon and we'll just pick up as many as we can. So you can kind of see in the corner of the screen. Those are some of my findings. But I
Wow.
love it because it looks so natural and it's kind of cool to like see the different shapes of the wood. It makes every piece unique.
Yeah, it does. It really, really does. And I love the fact of, especially on your Etsy shop as well, like you really roll with the natural kind of beiges and the wicker and stuff like that. Like I really feel like that complements your brand so, so much. And you
Oh,
also
thank you.
live the values and stuff as well. Like you like to reuse things and kind of give things another lease of life. So it's really good to kind of
Yes.
see that you kind of take that on in your own life as well.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. It's nice to just find something so beautiful on the beach and turn it into something cool for your wall.
Wow. What's the biggest piece you've ever made? I'm curious.
So the biggest one I made, I think, was 5 feet wide, or maybe like 5.5 feet wide,
Wow.
by 4 feet long. And it was for one of our dear friends. They put it above their fireplace.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was my biggest one. I think it probably took me maybe 3 or 4 days to complete that one. And I was working on it probably like 6 hours a day.
Wow. So
Yeah.
6, 12, 18, 24 hours literally that it took you to make that.
Yeah. But it
That
was
is,
fun. I honestly think my favorite thing is the giant wall hangings.
yeah.
I have one above my bed. That one's 4 feet by 3 feet. And yeah, it was like one of my favorite pieces that I've ever made.
Oh, that is amazing. I also see on your Etsy shop as well that you kind of use, is it beads that you also use as well to kind of bring out oh no, it's not beads. Do you know what? It looks so smooth and nice. It almost looks like beads, but it's not. It's where that you've like created the knots with the different colors on the white background. That is
Oh,
amazing.
yes. Yeah. So I have the white strings hanging and then I just kind of weave in the colored threads and then I can kind of create a shape out of it. So my most recent ones, I did a skull and then a jack-o'-lantern for Halloween.
Oh, that is amazing. Honestly, they look so perfect that I literally thought that they were beads.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that is so nice. I love the skull. I think that's so good. And if you guys want to go and check out the shop, we will link it below because it's really amazing. Like I love the pictures. I love just the whole vibe. It's great. I love it. And I also love the bag as well. Tell me more about that bag.
Yeah, so I actually had a friend reach out to me and she was like, "Do you think you can like craft me like a little purse?" She was going on a trip to the Bahamas and she wanted something that was like really like natural, like boho looking. And so yeah, I just started kind of going. There are a lot of really cool YouTubers on there that would do tutorials. So I kind of took some inspiration from that and then kind of added my own flair to it. And so yeah, she took it on her trip and she brought it back and it still looks great. So she was kind of my guinea pig. So then I decided to add it to my Etsy shop.
Oh, that's amazing. And it does look so, so nice. I love the fact that it's like a really tight weave as well, because some you can get that like a really loose kind of like weave. They look beautiful, but
Yeah,
I'm always worried that stuff is just literally going to fall out as you're walking.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. We made this one pretty small. So there's little holes in there, but it's just big enough to let maybe the sand out.
Yeah. So what talk to me about kind of like your brand, because you are called Knot and Olive and you use kind of like very foresty greens and the kind of like beige as your brand. Tell us more about that side of
Yeah.
things.
So I'm very fortunate that my husband is a graphic designer.
Oh, amazing.
So
That's
he
always
was able to
handy.
help me out with that logo. But so not obviously the first part because I love tying knots.
Mm.
And then the second part, Olive, is actually my mom's cat. If you
Wow.
go through my Etsy shop, I have a cat hammock on there.
I'll find
And
it.
my mom was the one that she had seen like a version of it on Pinterest. And she's like, "Do you think you can make this for my cat?" And so I was like, "I think I can." So we kind of experimented with it. Wasn't really sure if the cat was gonna like it. And then my mom had it on the floor while she was hanging the hook in the ceiling. And the cat hopped in while it was on the floor. So we knew she was gonna love it. But after seeing how much she loved it, I was like, okay, I need to add this to my Etsy shop because I'm sure more people will. So that was one of my best sellers when I first started. And then I actually have a couple of photos like from customers that they'll send me pictures of their like kittens hanging out in the little basket.
I
So
can
Olive
see.
is the cat. So she was my model. So I thought it was proper that she was in the name.
Oh, I love that. And the cat hammock looks amazing. I mean, I can see that being turned into like a gigantic chair to just hang from the ceiling.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully one day. I feel like that would take definitely some experimenting with, just to make sure I have all the right hardware.
Yeah. So what's kind of like what's your Everest project with this? Like if there's one thing that you're like, "Ah, I really want to attempt to make this, but it just looks so complicated and big." Is there anything like that you're thinking, I want to give it a go, but I'm not sure yet?
The chair that you mentioned, that would probably be on my list. But I would say that my number one thing is I would love to make a giant macrame for like a storefront and have it be like 10 feet long by like 10 feet wide, or yeah, 10 feet wide by 10 feet long.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool. And I honestly, it would kind of be really challenging to figure out the pattern for something that wide.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a project that I would love to take on eventually. So that's definitely on my bucket list.
Oh, amazing. That sounds epic. Well, let us know when you do that and pop a picture in the group, because I'm sure we'd all love to see
Yeah, I definitely
the epic size of this thing.
will.
So when did you come across me and Handmade Bosses? Like, tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I feel like I got really serious about my Etsy shop in February. And that's kind of when I started to diversify the products that I was offering. So before it was just like 6 wall hangings. And then in February, I was like, no, I'm going to add coasters and I'm going to add some plant hanger designs. It's going to start experimenting with keychains, things like that. And then started adding more listings and realized that I was getting a couple more views, but most of my views were still coming from social media. So I was kind of driving all my own traffic. And then a couple months went by. I think what had happened at the beginning is like I told a few people at my Etsy shop. So like my views started going up, but that's just kind of like the word of mouth that was getting around. And then that kind of started to die. And then I started to get really worried. So I think I literally just went to YouTube and typed how to get more sales on Etsy. And then your channel popped up and I started watching a bunch of videos. And then I saw that you had a course, and I had like thought to myself, like, if I want this to be like a long-term thing, which I do, I really want to like invest in it. Yeah, so I ran across your YouTube channel, and then the videos were super helpful, and I could tell just by your videos that you were super organized, and I love to be organized. And then I think you even referenced Friends in there a couple of times, and I was like, oh my God, I love Friends. That's like my favorite show. I watch it over and over again. So yeah, and then I was like, I'm gonna invest in the course, and then that's when I started.
Amazing. So because I think that a lot of people they kind of start a thing, whatever it is, whether it's making what you make or making t-shirts or whatever, and I think people kind of they don't make the leap from it just being a side gig to, no, I'm not going to look back. I'm just going to put my blinders on and look completely ahead. We have been having some great conversations so far on today's episode, but I've got something even more special for you. You know what it takes to be shown on page 1 on Etsy, right? Yep, you guessed it, increasing your conversion rate. My 3-step framework to skyrocket your Etsy conversion rate is my signature free masterclass. And boss, I'm saving a spot for you. Learn how to increase your conversion rate in 3 easy steps, as well as the top 3 mistakes I see Etsy shops make on a daily basis. Sign up in the show notes or head to handmadebosses.com/conversion. That's handmadebosses.com/conversion to claim your spot. Now let's get back to the episode, and I can't wait to see you there, boss. What made you decide to invest and that you wanted to really truly do this? Because I think that sometimes it's like you have to, like I said, just put your blinders on and just ignore what your inner voice sometimes says and what other people say. So talk to us more about that point when you were like, yeah, I'm going to invest money, time, and I want to make this work.
Yeah, I think it probably happened pretty gradually. I think once I saw like how many different products I could offer, and then my husband helped me with all my branding. And then like I follow other small businesses on Instagram, like candle companies and like all these things. And I saw that like that's what they do full time. And I was like, okay, so it is possible to run an Etsy shop and have that be like your full-time thing. So then I kind of started like getting the wheels turning. And then I was like, okay, I think that even if it's not my full-time thing, even if it's just my side thing, I can make this something really profitable for us. So yeah, I just I feel like once I get my head stuck on something, I'm like really determined. And so I think when I saw your course, it probably happened a lot too when I saw your course, I was like, okay, I think I can do this. But yeah, I think because I've been doing macrame for 3 years, I noticed it's something that I don't want to stop doing anytime soon. And I really love it. Like even the days I take off, I'm like, I kind of miss it. So I knew it's something that I can do for a long time.
Yeah, which I think is a really important thing. And I mean, having passion for what you do, because I think a lot of people kind of just use Etsy as a means to an end. You probably know the kind of shops that I mean, that pop up, they don't really care about what they sell, and then they're gone within like 3 months. And I think that it does, you have to have that driver, you have to have the passion where you're like, I love doing this, that I'm going to be doing it anyway, so I might as well make a business.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. So roughly when did you join us in the Handmade Bosses Success Academy, roughly?
I think it was beginning of June. Around
June.
That time.
So not long.
Yeah, I guess luckily and unluckily, I'm still unemployed from COVID. It's actually been pretty hard to find a job. So I was able to dive in pretty much full time with the course and with my Etsy shop. So I was spending, I would say probably like 30 hours a week, kind of bouncing back and forth between the course and then editing my Etsy shop. And yeah, I'm actually going through it a second time because I feel like I'm still absorbing information even the second time through.
Yeah. And that's what I say is that, if you go through the first time and there's still little things that bug you in your shop, go through it again. Like go through it as many times as you can, because there will be things that you miss, and you'll see things in a different light the second time,
Yeah.
So let's talk about what impact the course has had on your business. Talk to us more about that side of things.
Yeah. So the biggest impact that I've noticed is that I'm actually confident to say that I own a business now.
Oh, man.
Before I was kind of embarrassed that I started an Etsy shop. And I think part of it was I had actually had an Etsy shop maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I was making like little beaded bracelets. I had I didn't really like set apart like my niche. It was just kind of like beads that I found and I would kind of throw it together. I kind of just listed my products. I didn't do any SEO research. So I just kind of put it up there, kind of hoping for the best, but like my heart wasn't in it. And I feel like people can tell when your heart is not in it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, this time around, I was kind of embarrassed to say that I owned a shop. Because I kind of felt like people might compare it to that. And I didn't want people to like look at my shop and be like, oh, she only has 5 listings, or something like that. So now, after doing the course, I'm like really proud of all the work that I've put in. And when people ask what I do, I'm really proud to say that that's like right now it's like my full-time thing. But even in the future, if I'm like, oh yeah, I do this and I own an Etsy shop, like I'm excited to say that.
Yeah. So I guess it's kind of put you in a good stead, I guess, to be able to say, no, I am not a small business owner. I'm a business owner. Because I think so many people, they kind of always say, oh, I just do this, or I own a little business that's just sells that, they really kind of put that word in there before they actually say what it is that they do. And I think that so many times it's because there's inner work in there that maybe, like what you said, where, you had a shop before and you're worried about what people may think. And that does really affect the choices that you make, and almost how successful you will be is if you have that mindset of it's just a small shop or it's just a side gig or whatever, then you tend to make choices in favor of that, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. So with your business and the course, talk to us about what impact it's had on your life, because you said that COVID kind of came at, and like it has with us all, it's kind of laid a path of devastation in its wake. Right. So what impact has your business and the course had on your life?
Yeah. So I think the biggest impact is like I was unemployed for so long, and it's like really defeating when you're like, applying for jobs, and you don't get any callbacks, or you get an interview and then the person just completely ghosts you. It begins to be very defeating. And so I think the best thing is like, I now have this to focus on while I'm still looking for a full-time job. And so when I get like the little ding on my phone, that is so rewarding. And it's so like rewarding to run my own business that I would say even just for like my mental health, it's like, it keeps me going. It keeps me like strong because I have this to focus on. And like I said, the confidence, like of just saying that I own my own business. That's like really huge for me.
Yeah. And I guess as well, it kind of enables you to kind of take back control a little bit as well.
Yes.
Like everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, awesome. I love that. So, what was your biggest takeaway from the course? What was like the biggest thing that you can kind of put your finger on and say, yes, that was like the biggest thing that I took away from it?
For me, I'd always struggled with SEO. I would kind of research it and then use the tools, but I still in the back of my head was like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. Maybe I should just redo everything. I don't want to add any listings because I'm just going to mess them up, things like that. Or they're not going to get seen. And so going through that course and having it like all laid out, or that part of the course, having it all laid out. And then now I know like, okay, I am doing this right. I am setting up my listing for success. That has been like just giving me like peace of mind. Because there would always be times where I would second guess it. I would go back, I would change things. And then I'd be like, wait, what if I changed something that was working? So yeah, just like knowing that I know what I'm doing now with SEO has been so helpful.
Yeah. I think that's a struggle that a lot of people have, that when they're kind of like, they do it and then they go back and change it and then they think, well, wait, did I just change what worked well? And then they go back and change it again. And all the while it's like putting the clock back to naught, because you've then got to wait for it to be found and everything like that. And you know, you can honestly waste months, can't you? Just sat there waiting, and then in the meantime you're kind of not really doing anything else and you don't know what to focus on. And so yeah, I'm glad that it helped to kind of put your mind at ease more and
yes.
kind of be like, this is the right thing that you're doing, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
So obviously your business, you started late last year, but you really kind of got to grips February of this year. So normally I kind of say, how different is your business from 1 year ago? But how different is your business now than what it was at the beginning of this year?
Yeah. So at the beginning of the year, I think I had maybe 6 listings and they were all wall hangings. My photography was not great. I was using like this brown fence in my backyard. So if I just compare it to like 6 months ago, my views have tripled. And then my sales have become more consistent. I went, like when I first started, I was getting like 1 a month, and now I'm getting a few a week. So that's been great. And then just being able to like expand the variety of products too has been really helpful. And then I've noticed like too, it's just a better price range for people too, because my keychains start at $5 and then my wall hangings can go all the way up to like 400, just depending on how big they are. So it broadens my audience.
Yeah, amazing. So it's definitely kind of become more of a steady thing then compared to the beginning of this year, you'd say?
Yes, definitely more steady. My views, I feel like every month they're growing. During the summer, I didn't know this, but I heard from a lot of other Etsy shops that the summer is kind of like this lull time. So that's when I started dipping, and then that's when I signed up for the course because it really scared me. And then since then, I've seen every month my views are growing, sales are growing, all that. So I feel like I can kind of count on a few sales a week, which has been really nice.
Yeah, I think it's good as well to kind of see that even at the end of the day, if you've got your to-do list and you've not ticked anything off, but you go back on your stats and you're like, you know what? I'm still growing. It doesn't matter if I didn't do that little annoying thing. Everything is still pointing up. So
yeah, exactly.
Always a good thing. So now looking ahead, let's get excited because I love to hear about this. So where do you see yourself and your business 1 year from today?
So I would say in 1 year, I see my business getting, I would say, consistent daily sales. And I want to get to a point where I can use those sales to like save for a house for us. And then one of my goals is to have an Etsy bestseller badge on one of my products. I don't know which product. It's just kind of one of those goals I have like in my vision. But it's always been like one of my things, like I want to be one of those Etsy bestsellers. So I'm hoping in a year I'll have one of those.
I think you definitely will before the year is out, because honestly, your shop is amazing. It really, really is. Like I honestly see you going really, really far with this, because I think that you just seem to have grasped the things that are in the course. And I think sometimes you can kind of go onto shops and be like, I think you might have missed something just little there, but I'm looking at your shop and it's like, oh, it's just like a model shop. So I absolutely love it. And I think that you will be doing that. I can see you having like 3 or 4 of those badges.
Oh, thank you. That means so much.
I just think it's fantastic. So what's your one piece of advice that you could give to yourself at the beginning of the year? So like if you could go back and whisper in the ear of you, what would you say?
Probably the number one thing would be don't worry about what other people think about your small business. And don't be embarrassed to create the posts don't be embarrassed to post the things you create. I think in the beginning I was so worried about posting what I made and people being like, what is that?
Yeah.
And now that I've been in it longer, I realize I can't be everyone's cup of tea. And my products can't please everyone, but I feel like I'm starting to fall into the area where I'm finding my target audience, like especially on social media. So I'm not scared to post about my products. I'm more confident in like styling my products and things like that. So yeah, I guess I would just say like, you have to start somewhere. So don't be scared.
Because like what you said is that you're not going to please everybody, but the people that you do please are going to be a small little niche that are going to just become super fans, because you are talking directly to them. You're not talking to the masses and getting nowhere, which I think is another big mistake that I see. And I'm sure that you see it now as well, now that you've gone through the course, and you see a lot of shops that are kind of like, selling everything and trying to attract everybody, but in actual fact, they're not attracting anybody because of that.
Yeah, right. I feel like I'm starting to find my super fans, so that feels good.
Oh, amazing. I love it. All those repeat buyers. Yum, yum, yum. So the last question is one that I love to find out about. What is one crazy but true fact about you?
Okay, I would have to say that I'm like a crazy animal lover.
Love it.
We swam with stingrays in Antigua for our honeymoon, and then we have a trip next year to the Bahamas that we're swimming with dolphins.
Wow.
But I feel like actually kind of like goes back to my business because I have the cat hammocks. I just started with dog collars or dog leashes. Now people are asking me for dog collars. So I'm expanding my products to people that are animal lovers too, not just like home decor and things like that. So the big part of me that is an animal lover is like kind of transferring over to my business, which is kind of cool.
Oh, I love that.
Things that I'm passionate about.
Oh, that's great. I'm exactly the same. If I see a dog, I mean, I have a dog and she is literally my child, but if I see a dog or any pet, anything out, I'm like, oh, I want to go say hi.
Yeah.
I can almost see in your future having like another brand just specifically for pet stuff. I don't know, I might just be jumping the gun, but I feel like I can almost see that.
I think I would really like that.
That sounds amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
So, okay, tell everyone watching, listening, where they can find you.
So I am on Etsy. My shop name is Not an Olive. Mm-hmm. And then I'm also on Instagram. It's at Not and Olive, all one word. And then I actually just expanded to wholesale for my business. That was kind of a scary leap, but I'm excited to do that. So now I sell wholesale on faire.com as well.
Oh, amazing. Oh, I love that. So you're kicking butt and taking names.
Thank you.
Absolutely love it. So we're going to link all of the links, and your Instagram is amazing. I did have a little nosy on there. It is so good.
Oh, thank you. I feel like now that I feel like my Etsy shop is kind of up and running, I feel like I like have a vision now for my Instagram too, where it's like becoming more consistent and I'm like finding more things to post or like even just styling things different. Because before I was just like, okay, I already posted that keychain last month. Now what? But now I'm like, okay, no, I just style it differently. And then just make it a cute photo. And then now I have all these things to post.
I love it. I really do. And I think that you're getting such good engagement on it as well. And yeah, we're going to leave the link to that because you guys need to go and say hi and get your butts over there because it is so, so good. Savannah, thank you so, so much for joining us and chatting. I know it's early where you are. But yeah, no, guys, thank you so, so much for watching, listening, or wherever you are. Don't forget to check the shop out below. There'll be some helpful links around this somewhere, wherever you're consuming this as well. And guys, thank you so, so much. And we will catch you in the next one. Bye, everyone. We really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to check the show notes for some more helpful links and also a link to our website as well. Also, you can watch the video version of this over on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to get your free spot on our masterclass, a 3-step framework to skyrocket your Etsy conversion rate at handmadebosses.com/conversion. That's handmadebosses.com/conversion. We would also love it if you could leave us a review on iTunes, as it really helps us to reach more bosses in need. Subscribe to the show and we will see you on the next episode.